From beef to popcorn, Nebraska is #1. This week we're celebrating National Agriculture Week. We'll talk one-on-one with Governor Pete Ricketts, plus Grow Deeper, how fast-track trade authority could help Nebraska farmers. And a major meatpacking plant announces a big expansion in Lexington. NTV's Grow starts now. The Tyson meatpacking plant in Lexington announces a nearly $50 million expansion. That's our top story. Here's NTV's John Jankowski with more.
Program that we run.
With $47 million coming to Tyson plant in Lexington, they're going to build a 50,000 square foot warehouse addition.
It allows us to do a better sort on boxes. Some of our customers want specific product codes by weight. And it's going to allow us to do that and meet their needs.
Plant manager Mark Serrett says currently they are very limited on space. The facility can only hold 25 to 30,000 boxes. With the addition, they'll be able to triple their capacity. President of Tyson Fresh Meats, Steve Stouffer, says Lexington is a great place to have a plant.
It makes sense for us to be here. It's been supported heavily by the local community in the area, both from the community aspect as well as from a supplier perspective. So, I mean, really, there's no reason for us to leave.
Lexington city manager says it's great to know that Tyson's Fresh Meat is here to stay in the community.
It does a lot as a signal for confidence, for private investment, in the other sectors of the community.
The warehouse addition will not add any new jobs. They will add more machinery to eliminate some manual pickup and drop-off.
When you think about picking up boxes of meat all day long, whether it's anywhere from 20 to 80 pounds worth of boxes, that can wear on you after a while. It just makes it much more simple to be able to take it through the process.
Serrett says workers won't lose jobs with the company bringing in more machines. They'll just change their job role.
Switching gears to politics, Governor Pete Ricketts says his plan to cut property taxes on farmland isn't dead yet. Last week, the bill failed to get out of committee. That means there's no chance it will come up for a vote of the full legislature. But Nebraska Farm Bureau says there's still a chance a key part of the proposal could be attached to another bill, taxing farmland at 65% of what it's worth rather than the current 75%.
There's still opportunities in this year's legislative session to bring the 75 to 65% reduction in ag land values up. We're going to continue to work for that. We'll work for that in committee. We'll work for that as an amendment to bills if that's what it takes to get it onto the floor, because we know that this is a serious problem that needs to be dealt with.
Governor Ricketts says he's heard concern from schools, but tells them his proposal takes that into account.
Well, one of the things I proposed is phasing it in over 3 years. And if you do it stepwise like that, that'll give school districts and counties the ability to adjust their budgets. And again, I think it's one of the things that they'll be able to manage over the course of 3 years.
The governor made his case as he traveled this past week for Egg Week. This week marks the halfway point of the 90-day legislative session. Did you know 97% of the nation's farms are still family-owned? That's from the new Census of Agriculture, shining a light on the question, what is a family farm? The Statistics Division says they found family-owned businesses are at the core of the U.S. agriculture industry. Some other key highlights: small businesses matter. 88% of all U.S. farms are small family farms. Local connections can come in small packages. 58% of all direct farm sales to consumers come from small family farms. Big business matters too. 64% of vegetable sales and 66% of all dairy sales come from 3% of farms that are large or very large family farms. Farming provides new beginnings. 18% of principal operators on family farms in the United States started within the last 10 years. Nebraska farms grow more than corn and cattle. They grow our state's economy. And Governor Pete Ricketts, he says it's time to capitalize on the growing demand for beef.
It's vital to our county's economy.
What's agriculture worth to Custer County? How about $845 million a year? That's a lot of corn and cattle.
Oh, we love the diversity we have in Custer County, from the cow-calf to the row crop. We have large pork production. We're proud of our heritage we have here at Custer County.
But that government figure doesn't count all the taxes farmers like Tim Krause pay, or the money spent on equipment, fertilizer, seed, feed, or water. Governor Pete Ricketts may not have a farm background, but says he gets it.
Agriculture's a business, and our farmers and ranchers take risks every day. And I know what it's like to take risks in a business, and that's what we have to do, is make sure we give our farmers and ranchers some certainty so they can be successful.
Governor Ricketts visited Broken Bow during National Agriculture Week, making the case for lower property taxes and also pushing for policies friendly to livestock.
Livestock is a great example of how we can do value-added agriculture, and we are really uniquely situated right here in Nebraska to be able to take advantage of that.
The governor is tracking a couple of bills that could change the rules in favor of dairy and hog farms. He says Nebraska has the corn to feed livestock, plus ethanol byproducts that also feed cattle. His proposal to cut taxes on farmland failed, but at the halfway point of the legislative session, Ricketts says it's not a dead issue. When it comes to agriculture, farmer Tim Krause says he likes what he hears from the new governor.
I do. I have a lot of confidence in Governor Ricketts and what he's going to pursue with agriculture.
Foreign trade is worth billions to the state, but as we caught up with State Ag Director Greg Ibaugh, he says doing business internationally poses challenges. The State Ag Director is just back from Southeast Asia. He says Malaysia poses unique challenges. As a Muslim country, there are strict guidelines about what kinds of meat and processing is allowed. But another stop on that trip may be more welcoming to Nebraska producers.
But in the Philippines, we saw lots of opportunities, and from everything from dry beans to beef and pork and processed foods.
The market for Nebraska beef in the Philippines has exploded in the last 5 years, up from $1 million a year to around $8 million. More beans, less corn. That's what the latest Farm Futures survey shows. Stressed margins continue to be the culprit. Growers are gearing up to plant 88.34 million acres of corn this spring, down 2.5% from last year. Farmers said they were ready to put in 87.5 million acres of soybeans, easily an all-time high. Another crop farmers are looking at as an alternative, sorghum. Well, as it starts to warm up, spraying equipment will be out in the field. Our Grow co-host Marilyn Barnett has some advice for soybean growers.
When it comes to most plants, the strength of that plant starts in the ground. There are many things that threaten these plants that you can't even see. For soybeans, once you do see a problem, it's usually too late.
When you have a cold, you kind of have symptoms before you actually have the cold symptoms. You see, you might be feeling cruddy for a couple days. That plant's going to be feeling cruddy before we actually see that it's dying, that soybean plant. So really, seed treatments to me are protecting against those unseen illnesses.
Ryan from CPI says they have a couple of options for soybeans. Now, it all depends on your field and your specific situation, acre by acre even. You can decide what is best for your field.
Making recommendations field by field or acre by acre, because we got to be smart with our money.
We'll have a full interview on this. You can find it at nebraska.tv. Just click on NTV's Grow.
Up next, Governor Pete Ricketts shares his thoughts on growing Nebraska agriculture. But up first, here's a look at some of the winning posters kids made in honor of Ag Week.